Good morning, y'all. Hope everyone is having an amazing weekend so far. It's only Saturday. But I'm going to do a garden tour again today. Corrections from last time. There's only one that I can think of right now. And it is the corn. The corn is not 9 feet apart. I had said that. I did not mean to. It is 9 inches apart, the entire length of the bed. That is the only thing that I have been told is wrong from that. I'm not completely sure, but it is 9 inches, not 9 feet. So we are going to go over some, I think I went over varieties last time, but there's a lot different from last time. I went over some things that had not yet come up, but these are doing a lot better now. So let me turn you guys around and show you guys the corn. It doesn't look like it's grown at all, but I know it has because it just looks like it has a little bit, not a lot, but they're doing good. There's some rogue tomatoes coming up here that I don't want here. Some moving. Again, if you were not here for the first garden tour, these are Silver Queen hybrid corn. Might get some more water on the back half of this bed. But these are Silver Queen hybrid, and this is my second planting of these this year. We did our first one, I think I started it in April in these beds, and then pulled it the July 8th, I believe is what it was. The 11th, it was July 11th. And then I replanted these guys the next day, and they are doing amazing. Now, moving along, these are the strawberries. I pulled out some yesterday and ate them, and then there was a couple that were already eaten by bugs, so I actually pulled them and threw them on the ground in there for them to reseed. It's not that we need that, but... And then we have some more that are rooting right here. So they look like when they start sending out runners. This guy would root from right down here, where the... that's a little root. But I'm just going to redirect him back in there. And I'm probably going to end up getting another pool for next year full of strawberries, and then just have 2 of these going, because it is doing fantastic. Dragon tongues that I need to pull and redo something with the towers. I know I said last time that I was going to do that, but I have not yet. But I need to, and so I can really get those working to efficiency, what they need to be. The other corn bed, Silver Queen hybrid, again, this bed does look like it's doing a lot better than the other bed. Why that is, I don't know off the top of my head. But I'm going to probably end up getting more water on a couple of these spots before it gets too hot after this. Some empty buckets here that need to be planted that I haven't done anything with. And then these were just empty buckets last time. Well, they had seeds in them, but they were not sprouted and it hadn't come up yet and all that. These are zinnias in this one. Zinnias, more zinnias in those 2 as well. Tomato, that guy has set some fruit. Squash, yellow early prolific squash. Beans and zinnias, marigold, zinnia, marigold, same thing with that one there too. Dragon tongue, bush beans, same in all of those. Sunflowers are in that one, and that's beans. And then on the other side, it's not as many buckets, but not dragon tongue. Regular pole beans on this to go up the frame. Zinnias, squash, sunflower mix, another sunflower mix, and another tomato plant. And I'm hoping that these will go along the top of my frame. And then this space will look pretty good once all of this stuff is growing. It's really hot, so that's why I think a lot of things are stunted. The heat will stunt things. I don't expect them to do the best in any condition at all, because nothing is controlled. I mean, we're as controlled as it can be in Central Virginia when it's 100 and something daily for the past 2 weeks now. But I'm going to show you guys some other things that I'm pretty excited about in the garden. These are some, this is one tomato that I had, and he's doing well. I have some other plants there that weren't doing as good. This is my sunflower. It is at least 5-6 foot tall now. When I stand on my bed, the garden bed, I can still see he's going to open soon. And I'm excited. Now this bed I replanted with Armenian cucumbers in my second video. They have not come up yet, so I might end up replanting, and if both sets end up coming up, then I will tear them out, or tear out one set of them, and I might replant this squash right here too. He looks like he's not getting the best of something. I don't know if it's just too hot and they're not doing well. I'm gonna replant this though. And then there are actually zinnias coming up here. I had zinnias here before and I pulled them out, but these are going to be very good for the fall. And then let me show you. Those are the zinnias that I have right now, the ones that I left. You can see I have 3 different colors. These are actually new. And it's not red. I think it's showing up red, but it's not. It's a really dark pink, almost kind of a hot pink, but really dark. And then these guys are 2 Java Mayan sunflowers. And these are actually going to open up here, I think, by the next time that we do a garden tour. And then this bed, I planted 8 lima beans. It looks like I need to replant those. And pole beans, which looks like I need to replant some of those too. And then squash. The squash is coming up down there. And those are more squash. Actually, that's not a squash. I'm not sure what that is. No, that's a squash. That is a squash. Okay. Sorry. Getting confused here. And I still have this dead stuff on there. I just haven't pulled it off yet. It's still very difficult to get off because it's wrapped so tightly, but I'm going to get it off before the next tour. Probably after this. And then, let me walk around. But these lima beans have enough time to do their thing. The last ones were very stunted by aphids. The pole beans, I don't know why they haven't come up, but they haven't. Down here I have sunflowers. Only 2 have come up, and I planted 6. So it should be like there and then there. And then I'll show you guys this side. These tomatoes are doing really well. They're in, sorry, it is so overgrown over here. They're in a small bucket that just a regular one that you get from Lowe's when you buy a plant from there. These were not bought from there. I've had those buckets for 3 or 4 years now. And then I just planted more. But these guys, these tomatoes are getting big. And then same with over here. This plant. I don't have anything in here yet, but I've staked tomato branches to him. And this is actually my scarecrow named Huckleberry. He had a hat on, which was just a bucket, but it's not on him anymore because wind. I need to pull some stuff in here too as well. But these are Mexican sour gherkins. I think I have another one coming up there. But these guys should be well. I might plant more just so I can guarantee to get at least a few. And they will go crazy from what I've heard, but I've never grown them before. But these tomatoes are looking fantastic. I cannot wait to have these to have my sunflowers open up. I have never grown flowers before. I have seen sunflowers after they were cut, but I've never seen them when they were growing. And then the zinnias are my first year growing them, and I think they're ranking up there with tomatoes for me as my favorite things to grow. They're doing amazing. But let's continue on. I'm going to show you this rogue plant. I have no clue what it is. but it's doing well. It hasn't set on any. It has some fruit, but I have no clue what it is. It's some sort of squash, though, that I know. Look at that. His main part is right, or that's where he's planted. And it wasn't even planted, it was a volunteer. From over here, and then he's spread out. And that's probably, if I were to stretch it out entirely, it'd probably be 20 feet, easily. These are dragon tongues. I have not actually pulled these because I have not had a need to. So I've just continued letting them get bigger and bigger. They're actually just now starting to actually fill in the pod. I'm setting some more green ones. I don't know why those aren't colored, but they're doing really well. I planted more because they aren't doing the best. I have other ones planted at my great-grandparents' house, and they're doing so much better than these. And they were a month later. So, more tomatoes. These guys are doing good. There's some powdery mildew on here. On this plant, the big one. I just prune it back. And my cucumbers aren't looking the best, but I'm going to go ahead and plant for a second harvest of those as well. These are tomato plants in here. I think there are, I don't know, probably 10 out here that are doing good. They're still in little pots, but they're doing fine. If they die, they die. I have a bunch more, so I'm not too worried about it. These are onions that have died, I think. The cucumbers have taken them over, but the soil conditions were not the best for those either. This is my tomato bed. And you can see just how many tomatoes I have. And they're cucumbers spread throughout with beans up at the top. But these guys, there are so many on here. I came out here and I ate literally for 10 minutes eating tomatoes, and I had gotten full and there was still so many more. Now I need to prune these back and stake them better. Sorry, trying to get through here. But these tomatoes, look at that. And I still have not done a pruning video on here, but I will. I might move my one from Instagram over, but I might just do a different one. But these guys are doing really well. There are some cucumbers in here, that guy. And then more tomatoes over here. These are, the cucumber variety are straight 8s. These are, most of these are sweetie cherry, except for the yellow variety that I have. They are, I don't know the name right off the top of my head. They're not sun gold, that I know. You can't even see. Plant's taking the show. They're not sun gold. I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head. But they taste so good. More tomatoes on this side. More cherries on this side. So it's cherry, cherry, and then on the other side it's more cherries of this same bed. And then on the other side of this, after this, it will be the big slicing tomatoes that I have. But yeah, as you can see, these guys need to be staked up, but I'm going to show you guys some cucumbers that have come in. These are deformed because of, well, they are deformed because of the heat, and so I am going to plant for a second wave, but it is 100 degrees here every single day. Maybe not 100, but it's at least 95 and above, which is not good. So I am going to show you guys the big tomatoes and then move on to my squash and, not my squash, my pumpkins and watermelon. Sorry, it took me a moment to think of that. It shouldn't have either. This is one of the marigolds that I planted, and that's just now starting to open up. I had some planted all through here, but these guys, I think they got overcrowded from the tomatoes. So I will not be planting as many next year. I'll probably just plant some on the edges like this one is. And now, these are my big slicer tomatoes. These are Best Boy. And they are doing so well. I have 2 spiders in here on this side. Yeah, I have 2 on this side and 2 on this side. Sorry, those hens are being so loud. No one must have laid yet, so they don't know where to, so they're not understanding that they need to lay. And I don't know if I'm supposed to prune these guys or not. I have not yet, but I probably need to. Sorry, I'm trying to rip off something, which I shouldn't be, but these tomatoes are very, very big. Those aren't. Those are on the smaller side of what I have here. Ooh. Didn't even see this guy here. This guy's pretty big, actually. Let me get y'all situated. He's pretty big, decent size. Sorry, I'm moving through foliage here. I have some big ones in here, but those are more. This guy is rotten from the end. I know what that's called, not off the top of my head though, but I'm going to pull this one because it's like that. I think it's blossom end rot if I'm not mistaken, so that's going to go to my hens. Not as a treat, I can guarantee you. But that is a big tomato back there. I know that one's a big one, and then I have some other ones. But I cannot seem to find them when I need to, and I'm not trying to take up a lot of time. But these guys, I probably need to trim them back, prune them, and get them ready to not have disease. But they are doing fantastic. I probably will end up pruning or watching a video on how to prune a determinate tomato. But they're doing well, still setting blossoms. I don't think that they're going to continue setting blossoms for very long because of the heat. And I actually need to water this bed, and I have not today. So, but I have not watered that bed in 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 days at this point now. It hasn't needed it. We got rain the other day on day 3 of not watering, and I was going to water them that night, and then we got rain, so I ignored it. But let me show you guys how my watermelons are doing and how my pumpkins are doing. These watermelons, these are Sweetie, no, these are a Crimson, I think it's a Sugar Baby watermelon. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah, Sugar Baby. Sorry for that. These are, I only planted ones like there, and there. But the other one, I think the top got too hard for them because when you water it and you don't move it around like the first couple days, it gets really, it's almost like concrete for something to go through. The top just gets hard, but I mixed it all up again, and then these guys all came up at the same time. So I am incredibly happy about that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 watermelon plants. Will all of them stay here? I'm not entirely sure, but we are going to see. This is my pumpkin plant. It is huge, and I want it to stay confined to one area, and that did not happen, obviously. So let's go through. Well, I'll show you the one down here first. There's a little baby pumpkin right there, and then just seeing that guy, there's one there. And these are a mixture of orange jack-o'-lanterns and white pumpkins. But let me get over here to show you another big one. Not big, they're not that big. And then that guy is getting pretty big. I'll probably end up pulling all the weeds around him. And then it is going all the way over into my other bed, which I don't mind very much. But these are a mixture of the white and the jack-o'-lanterns, like I said. And so far they're doing good, except for going everywhere and me not wanting them to, but it's a vining plant, so what did I expect? But that's... Sorry for the corn stalks. I was trying to let them dry out, but they're going to end up going. Some chicken food bags that I filled up with soil, and all of this. This is looking fantastic. Again, none of this is on a large scale. I mean, everything could be way closer together and less walkway, but it is looking fantastic right now. I cannot wait until fall when all of this stuff is really showing out and the heat breaks and everything just has a much needed break from the heat. But so far everything is doing really well and I am incredibly happy. I have planted a lot of sunflowers in hopes of having a couple and saving seeds and using them for my chickens and a whole different, just using them everywhere and saving seeds from them and just having something that's beautiful. And I think that's what I'm going to achieve here. But there are, of course, some of these things will be torn out and replanted. The cucumbers will be torn out. I don't know if I'm going to replant them where they are now or not. Most likely not, because although I like the space, I think they're just too close to my tomatoes and their tendrils grab on and will choke them out. So, but I'm excited with the garden progress this year. We've made a lot of headway. It looks amazing. It looks amazing, and I could not ask for more. I know a lot of people have had problems with soil, contaminated soil, and I am incredibly sorry for all of that. Not my fault, but again, I am sorry because a lot of people are gardening for a multitude of reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. But it's not okay that you guys aren't able to grow because you don't have the soil that you need or that you were thinking that you were getting. We got ours locally from a place called Mulch Unlimited, and their soil has done really well. We got mushroom compost and leaf compost, and both seem to be doing really well. The mushroom compost is better, in my opinion, for growing things. It's a little bit thicker, but it grows things amazing, and it is full of everything that it'll need. I have not done anything with these two beds. It was a lot of mushroom compost, and it's doing amazing. But I am praying for all of you guys with soil problems, and even if it's not resolved this year, next year I am praying that you guys have an amazing garden, something that is way better than what I have here. And it is full of life and new growth and plants and everything. But from my garden to yours, I hope that you guys will continue growing things next year. It's not the end of the year though, but if you are in a place that it has a longer season, you can still plant right now and have, if you can find someone who, you can't plant tomatoes necessarily, but if you can find someone who has suckers, tomato suckers, or a tomato plant and they don't have them pruned yet, or they're looking to get them pruned, ask them if you can come by and just take a couple suckers off of their plants. I'm sure they'll say yes if they don't want to keep the suckers, but most likely they'll say that you can take them and you can plant them right now and have a fall tomato harvest. And that is what I've done. I've actually had some other plants that were stunted and I moved them out and they're doing amazing. I took off probably 10 suckers the other day and they're just now starting to grow roots, and I am so incredibly happy for that. But more on tomato and all of that. But you can plant anything if you live in somewhere that still has at least 100 days. You can plant tomatoes, zinnias, corn, maybe not corn, a short variety of corn, 60-70 days, beans. You can plant, beans are amazing. Squash you can plant, cucumbers, There are just so many things you can plant that are so worth it to grow. Even if you don't get a lot of harvest this year, having that extra knowledge and doing it at least one time before a big harvest is very beneficial. But I am going to go. This bed is finally in the shade behind me from our tree. I'm going to water these guys, and then I am going in because it's getting hot, and as much as I like the heat, it's been too hot here. So I am going to end this garden tour now. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.